All right, how can we find the slope given a variety of different situations? From words. When we read this question, a plumber charges $100 to visit and $75 per hour. Slope is exactly like rate of change. So we know right away that the rate of change is $75 per hour. So the slope would be 75 over 1. The rise is 75, the run is 1. From a linear equation, so in the form y equals mx plus b, the coefficient in front of x is going to represent the slope. So for this example, slope is equal to -5. The second example, however, it's not in the form y equals mx plus b, but we know how to put it into y equals mx plus b by using opposite operations. So the easiest thing to do in this situation is to start by adding 2y to both sides. So that leaves us with 3x equals 2y. Then we want to isolate the y, so we'll divide both sides by 2. So we get 3 over 2x equals y. So now that we've done that, we can isolate the coefficient and state our slope as 3 over 2. From a graph. From a graph, there's a bunch of different options because we have a bunch of different points. But the key to finding the slope using a graph is to pick accurate points. So I'm going to pick the y-intercept, which is right here. And then the next one that I can see that is 100% accurate is right here. From here, I'm going to do a rate triangle. I'm going to go up and across. So to go from -4 to +2, I covered 6 squares. To go from 0 over, I have 2. So the slope would be 6 over 2, which when reduced gives us 3 over 1. From a table of values. So when we're creating a table of values, or when we're given a table of values, we want to check the differences to make sure, first off, that it's linear. So when I compare what's happening, it's decreasing by 5, decreasing by 5, decreasing by 5. So the y values are all decreasing by 5. Now we need to check the x. So on the x side of things, we're increasing by 2, by 2, by 2. So based on this table of values, we do have a linear relationship because the differences in x are linear and the differences in y are linear. So that means our slope, which is the change in y over the change in x, has a value of -5 over 2. So from a table, it's the change in the y differences over the change in the x differences. Slope from the coordinates. So we have a wonderful formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it doesn't matter which point you choose to start with as long as you're starting with the y. So I'm going to have -2 subtract -8 over, because I started with the coordinate that had -2 as the y, I have to start with -4. And then I'm going to subtract -21. So -2 subtract -8 is going to be 6. -4 subtract -21 is going to be -4 plus 21, which is 17. And we cannot reduce that. So that summarizes how we find the slope given a variety of different situations.